Hey, good morning everybody. Sunday 28th of December. Hope you all had a great Christmas. Welcome to Oxley Central. I'm Ian. This is going to be the last video of 2025, just to give you a little update on progress, what I've been up to, what's been happening, and also my very exciting planned visit next week to Alstom Oxley Depot. So to find out what I've been up to, let's go and take a look. Okay, so here we are. I guess first thing is, based on my last video, is I had lots of comments about my wedding. So thank you to everybody who took the time out to watch that video and comment. It was really nice of you. Since posting that last video, things took a slight turn for the worse. Don't worry, we didn't get divorced. But a couple of weeks later, I was made redundant from my job after 8 years. So I didn't really get much time in here in what I wanted to do, what I wanted to achieve. It was very much the priority was to look for a job as soon as possible, which I'm pleased to say I did. And I started a new job 5 weeks ago. So luckily for me, I was only unemployed for 5 weeks. So I've been able to have some progress, but mainly a good tidy up and a good sort of start to painting things, you know, little bits and pieces that I can finally put together, which I'll run through with you on the video. I guess the most exciting news is my trip to Alstom next week. I cheekily emailed Alstom to say, look, building this layout. I really would like some pictures for some detail so I know what I'm doing. The aerial pictures that I've got are okay, but it doesn't give me everything I need. Literally 3-4 hours later, by surprise, I got an email back from the sort of media guy there, and he'd copied in the Health and Safety Director for UK and Ireland. And actually, it turns out he lives about 4 miles down the road from me. And they are delighted to be taking me around the depot. So it's fabulous news. I've had to do a risk assessment online. I've had to do a video, pass the video, submit it, get my passes, etc. So that will become a special separate video, perhaps next week, 2nd, 3rd of January. We'll see what happens. But I'm very excited, and I'm very grateful to Alstom for accommodating me on this. So I guess we need to find out what I've been up to. So we'll run through that now. So one of the biggest changes has been this weekend with some help from my son. I saw these pegboards from IKEA. If anybody's interested, if you buy more than 5 items, it's 20% off. So I got about 22 quid based off all of this. So there's 3 pegboards, 2 76 centimetres, 1 56 centimetre, and then all the individual trays. So I think they're like 4 quid. They're 2 quid. All these hooks at the minute are on offer. They are 10p instead of £1 each. So I've got 20 of those. And then I've got some little storage boxes. I think that was 8 quid for a set of 3. And I've just started to do some organisation here. So that's the first bit. I've kind of been quite pleased to get done, so I can actually put my hands on everything. Been to Hobbycraft. Anybody interested in these are absolutely brilliant. They are half price at the minute. So this one is £7. So 6 cassettes. That I've now sorted out, so I know where everything is as opposed to being dumped in a box. And then I also got the slightly smaller version, which was £14 instead of 28. So I really recommend these. They've got these little locking clips, and it's just been brilliant. I've not sorted everything out just yet, but I'm slowly getting there, and they're brilliant. I couldn't have wanted anything better. And then just literally this morning, just prior to filming this, I've now got all my kitchen cupboards in place. So the doors, I should say, they're all done. So I'm quite chuffed at that now. I've just got to put a shelf next because the Christmas festivity food that's left over. But I'm pretty happy with that. Just got to get the door handles. No rush for those. But it looks a lot clinical and cleaner. And at some point during this video, my lovely wife bought me these fantastic Ray-Ban Meta glasses. I've had the green transitions, and I am going to put them on at some part of this video, and I'm going to see how the video turns out. I may use it, I may not, but we'll see how we get on. Okay, so in terms of progress, I won't say I've done a huge amount. I've just dressed this up a little bit for this video today, really. I started to build and paint this, which was from Wagon Hill Works. I have to say it was a nightmare to glue, put together, but I managed to do it over 3 or 4 nights. I'd also got this sort of oil tank storage, painted all of that, so that's kept me quite busy. And I've obviously got to put concrete hard stand in here. I've just not got to that point. I've only placed it there for this video, really, and whatnot. I've started doing a few bits and details. I've started running ahead of myself a little bit, I think, but I've started putting in, you know, like the orange cable protecting pipes and whatnot, and some electric cabinets, but I've managed to buy some 3D ones which look better than these ones. These are actually from the old company End Scenic. I don't think they trade anymore, so I'm going to try and use the plastic ones. And in my infinite wisdom, I decided to put a complete running loop in here just to fill this space. I just thought it saved me trying to reverse locos back out onto the correct running line, etc. But I managed to stitch myself up because months ago when I cut this, I had no plan to put in another track here. So I've got to try and get some MDF, and I've got to try and do something with it. And the last thing I want to do really now is cut this piece here and then start rejoining all the track. Aside from that, the trunking has been done. So my friend Asbo 3D, all that trunking is down. What I haven't done yet is the tops. You can see there's tops on there, but there isn't on there. I bought the file off Etsy if anybody wants a link to it, and I've started infilling the track connections. Admittedly, I have used concrete ones here, but my plan is I'm actually going to paint my points. I kind of wish that I'd done that before laying the track, and yeah, I've probably made things difficult for myself, but I just think it's going to look better painted. So that's the plan. So yeah, from a visual perspective, bought these. I think they're $4.99 for 2. So I've got 4 of those. They don't come with any lights, but I have sourced a place where I can get some 1mm diodes. I might wire them up. We shall see. And I've just set up my 250s with my Revolution wagons. So overall, I've got quite a good vision for this and where I'm going with it. My depot, as you can see, is there. It's only loosely placed, and I'll show you why in a second. I got these printed by my friend again, Asbo, and it turns out that the file isn't quite good, so he's refined the design, I believe, slightly, and used a smaller nozzle, whatever that means. And he's currently been printing a new batch for me over Christmas, but when I started fitting the original ones, it became very difficult to get the rails without kinking. But I'll show you a picture now of what it looks like. As you can see, I put it down, started slotting the rails in. The rails are starting to kink, so it was just really difficult. There was lots of filing to do. So as I said, my friend's gone back and printed me some more. So where I want to be, I think certainly by mid to end January. I know I promised in the last video I was going to get my back seams done, and I haven't. I've got a bit of a dodgy board over here, so I want to get that replaced with a new one, and I need to do some other bits and pieces really. But my whole vision for this area is to have it done by the end of January. Is ideal of what I want to do. Get the back seams done, get my pits in, fit lights in the pits. They've been specially made for me. I'm waiting for them to arrive. Found a guy who does like miniature doll's house lights. So he's prepared 6 sets of pit lights for me. So I'm going to do that. I've ordered some stuff when I find it. I ordered this. It's crafting paste. I was actually going to use this as a hard standing area. But I've read by a lot of people that there's a lot of sanding involved. So I've actually ordered some grey clay. It's air drying clay. And my plan is between the actual 2 pits, there's a void, so I'm going to end up using that modelling clay, shaping it, and it's got a natural concrete look around it, so I'm going to use that. I'm going to get my lights glued down. They're just loose at the minute. You know, I don't want stuff there before I've done my back seam. Doesn't make any sense. And then we'll start to put my gantries down. These are from Nick. I'll quote a link in the description later on. And I've bought some very tiny magnets, so glued at the bottom, both sides, and then it just means ever I need to access the track, clean the track, I can just lift them off and they're not going to get damaged. And then here we're going to have a hard standing area all the way down. Again, I haven't quite decided whether to use this modelling clay yet. I did buy from Railway Scenics their hard standing kit. I've had it before. It's a really nice kit. My only concern is when it gets wet or there's any marks on it, it's quite visible. The paper starts to rough up, and I'm not entirely sure whether I want to go down that route or not. Not sure. We shall see. And then once all that's done, I'm going to get it ballasted, and this should really open itself up. It should start to look authentic. That's the plan anyway. And then work on my embankments down here, some trees and whatnot. I think I'm actually going to cut this out here, because there is a housing estate up by Oxley, and I either turn this into a park and a lake and a football field, or I stick houses there. Not overly sure yet. We'll see how it goes. I'm probably just getting too excited trying to get this done. But overall, yeah, not huge amounts. I think, as everybody knows, when you start doing your infills on your track, that takes a lot of time. I did last week this curve, and believe it or not, it did take me about 3 hours. And I think when you get even closer to it, you kind of see where things are not quite right, and I adjusted them and I amended them. And yeah, it's going to be a bit tedious painting these, but I think it's going to be well worth it. In terms of the station, not a lot has been done. I fitted some lights. I've got them from Temu. I've knocked them down a little bit. I've gone ahead of myself, and then when I went to the show at the NEC a couple of weeks ago, I actually bought some Engage lights. I thought these were Engage from Temu, but clearly that they are too tall. So I bought some proper Engage ones. So this is actually going to be lifted up, which is going to be a challenge because they are now glued down, and I'm going to have to get my friend to print me some more of these to replace what I've got to do. Aside from that, had the car park. It was a bit of a deal from Rails of Sheffield, so I bought that. I guess now should go on to new purchases really since my last video. Apart from obviously the couple of items that I've got here and I've bought and I've painted. I've got my 3D cabinet boxes. I've bought and painted these, pack of 8 I think it was. I've painted my AWS, so they're all done. Got my buffer stops from Rusty Rails. I think these were 6 or 7 for 7 or 8 quid, something like that. And then my son for Christmas got me 7 of these Train Tech buffer lights. No wiring needed. They just clip straight into the rails and they output the red light, but on DC it will vary with the speed of the loco. The NEC, I bought a pack of these. Well, actually I spoke to the guys there, they were really accommodating. I need 5 packs, but I didn't need 5 lots of stairs, and they accommodated me quite nicely and did me a discount on what I needed. And I think on the last video I covered that I had my Engage intercity coaches, and I'm now waiting on the Virgin ones. I think they're coming out in the new year. We've got a 47 sound fitted, got class 90 sound fitted. I've got another Pendolino, so this is the full Virgin livery one. Got that on a very good deal, I have to say. Rude not to say yes. So that brings my collection of Pendolinos to 3. And then I had my Badger, purely because nobody's doing one in Engage yet. And my plan is I'm just going to run it along this shelf at some point. There's no urgency or rush for it, but I've always had a passion for the 89. So that's on there, but I think I said that in the last video. I guess that brings this video to a conclusion, to an end. I've had lots of comments, people have been messaging me on Facebook. I appreciate everybody's advice and help. If you've got any thoughts, something I've not done right or looks wrong, please let me know. I'm new to this, or it still feels like I'm new to it. And I will show you in the next video all about my trip to Oxley Depot, and then following that I'll do another one at the end of January, and we'll see what progress we've managed to achieve. So again, thanks for watching. I wish everybody a happy new year, and I wish you all the very best. See you soon, take care, bye bye. Okay, so I've got the Meta glasses on. I'm going to repeat myself here, see what these are like. So I've got the class 47, class 90. They were both sort of promotional offers, so rude not to have got them. I came across the 11 car Virgin Pendolino, very good price. Couldn't say no to that either. I think I said in my last video I've got the class 89. That's just going to run along the top here. No rush for that. And then I've got my Depot coaches, waiting on the Mark III Virgin ones. The NEC show, got the maintenance platform kit, bought 5 packs of these. Guys were really good to me. I didn't really need 5 lots of steps, so they took the steps out and gave me a reduced price on the rest of the platform kit that I needed. You can see here some bits and pieces. I painted my AWS, got my cabinets. I've got my buffer stops, which is from Rusty Rails, and some little cabinet stands with stairs. And thanks to my son for Christmas, he bought me 7 of these from Train Tech. They just literally clip to the track, and they power up with no wires or soldering needed, and they shine a red light. So the idea is that it will sit something like that, and that should be quite a nice visual effect. So again, I'm just going to use my glasses to see what these are like as a test, and you can let me know what you think in the comments. So there we go. I'm sure it will identify lots of little imperfections, but hopefully using these will be better than the phone. We shall see.